Hi, how you doing? This is Jimmy Rickel from Studio 3, News Team 3. This is March already. We're marching forward in our new year, and our tolerance with the current president and the administration. We want to see some positive action instead of mealy mouth stuff. You know what I mean? Don't make a difference which party you're in. There's a lot of stupidity going on. And you and I may not be able to get away with it, but apparently they seem to be getting away with it for now. Anyway, we're going to do a little commentary. Health care. You know, the Affordable Care Act is what it's called, not the Obamacare. The Republicans like to trash all the work Obama did and the administrations did for the last 8 years. I thought they did quite well, very articulate, regardless of all the other stuff that goes on. I think every president is going to encounter stuff that they're going to have to do that they don't necessarily want to do, or politically don't want to do, or party-wise. But you know, it's the nature of trying to protect and prosper the United States and the world, really. It's all in our benefit. Anyway, there's a lot of, like I say, stupidity is showing from the Republicans, how they're trying to deal with that. They're finding out, you know, talk is cheap. Getting down to the facts of how to address health care and costs and so forth. It needs to be addressed. We're all concerned. We're all paying some sort of health care costs. Well, I'm not. I'm really proud that the Veterans Administration has addressed all my health issues, and I really appreciate that. And I see many other veterans from not just our area, but throughout the Northern California visiting Fort Miley. Of course, you have the 2 clinics in Ukiah and Clear Lake assisting veterans, and they got transportation. So, you know, there's a lot of resources that we get. I was recently down Fort Miley and had a chance to talk to a employee. He was very articulate that they all got a letter from the new Veterans Administration head basically saying nothing's going to change. You can take that 2 or 3 ways. They're worried about hiring more people, training more people, providing more services. Clinics are doing good. Dealing with the homeless veteran and outreach is a whole nother matter. I think the problem is, excuse me, the problem is individuals get stuck in their particular styles of trying to live, and it becomes very comfortable, whether it be drug abuse or other things that you need to prop up your sense of well-being. And having a house and having a job doesn't necessarily do it. The individual's going to have to look at themselves and take a path that's best for them. So anyway, healthcare is going to be coming up. I'm curious on what you folks think. You can email us at newsteam3@yahoo.com. That's newsteam3@yahoo.com. Or you can write us at Post Office Box 24, Ukiah. And we'll have a conversation about it, maybe videotape you, put it on our local productions. So healthcare, big scare, almost as bad as immigration. I think immigration has more of a headache as much as healthcare. Just think how many people, millions, not just a few, millions are in this country because this country is good for them. Now I'm sure there's quite a few who really don't give a shit. They're here existing, and if they want to wreak havoc, they will. So far it seems like a lot of our own crazies are doing as much damage as anybody who's, quote, a terrorist. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of people acting like terrorists. The DA's office looks at domestic violence as terrorism. So just think how you can broaden that scale, how people's behavior, basically trying to interfere with the status quo of what's going on in the community, the cities, the states. It really relies on you and me to pay attention to our neighbors, what's happening in our neighborhood, take an active part in trying to address these issues. Together you may have some help. Unfortunately, law enforcement is always wanting more resources to do their job, and it's not always available. Now we got Trump trying to, President Trump, excuse me, going to put all this money into the military. And for years, I've been an independent voter, and I felt that we need to put more money into domestic issues and infrastructure, of course. They've been saying this presidency after presidency. And now they're going to put money into the military, more toys for the boys. You know, the problem is we still need to be strong. We still need to be capable of saying no militarily in different places throughout the world. And a lot of our young people, the way it's set up, that's how they get in. They go into the service. They get 2 to 4 years of experience. Hopefully they don't get killed. And they come back and try to assimilate in the colleges, into the community. It's just the process that's going on. So the military is good for the public too. Just some of their toys, I think, are a little excessive. Just think of all the planes they got deadline. That means maybe they have 10 planes and 5 of them are deadline at any one time. That basically means they need parts to function properly. Trump opened his big mouth and basically let the world that that's an active problem. You know, I think we know that anyway, but you don't need to be hawking that out into the public airways. So anyway, immigration, yeah, if you're not legally into the country and you're a bandit of some sort, small or large, you're putting yourself in jeopardy to be deported. The problem is resources to do that. One, most people, you hear about it, this guy who accidentally supposedly shot this lady with an officer's gun that he found or something like that down in San Francisco, had been deported quite a few times, and he comes back to the States. You know, I don't know how you do that. You monitor them, you chip them, you have some sort of control, but that's Big Brother. That's not really the way. So, you know, that's going to be an ongoing problem. But the bigger problem is when we have criminal gang activity and individuals who like to imitate others as a sense of well-being. The whole marijuana industry is definitely going to go through some changes. A lot of Hispanics and people from out of the states actually end up being arrested and released in these large garden things. So immigration is going to be fun. You better behave yourself. The marijuana thing, you know, I think it's out of hand, completely out of hand. Even though the majority want some recreational marijuana, I think that's dangerous in many forms. And one of these times we're going to talk about that. But people are going to do what they want to do. Some may feel that it helps them cope, that it helps them perceive how they want to look at the world. In either case, it's health issues definitely arise, not just from respiratory, but other issues within your system. Some of the chemicals being used, they're not really testing. So there's a lot of issues with marijuana. And now the county of Mendocino, as of Lake and other counties, Sonoma, the worst is the way I see it, are so liberal in what you can grow and where you can grow. Now, my problem is I see that folks aren't paying taxes. They may be putting money into local resources, but not every place. What they need, fertilizer, fencing, water, I doubt if they do much more. The banking industry is struggling with how to deal with that type of money. The state has already got a franchise tax board avenue to pay taxes and have some sort of legitimacy. The county ordinances are reinforcing that. The problem is smell, health issues. For instance, Ukiah has, I believe, a no-grow in the city limits, but we know there's a house, 226 Empire Drive. They now got fences up. They're actually a grow house. The person who does it was in prison for 8 years or so for molesting or having a relationship with a 17-year-old and plying with alcohol, so forth. Have another individual up in Loga, been in prison, in and out, God, 10 years or more, and drugs, firearms, aggressiveness. He's now grown pots up on Logat. So the problem is, how do you address this? How do you stop it? I think the sheriff's department is overwhelmed. The legal system is overwhelmed. So the problem is you and I are getting overwhelmed too, and the only recourse that we're going to have is protecting our own space. That's with weapons, that's with security, that's with saying no in many different forms. So we hope that you think about that and try and protect yourself the best you can. All right, one of the last things that we want to talk about, freedom of the press. President Trump seems to be trashing anything that doesn't agree with him. They're saying that this is false or fabricated news. News is news. Whoever's putting it together, however they're interpreting it, I don't think the media should cower down to any politician or any individual that says they're not their particular cup of tea. Journalists such as myself and others have a responsibility to be a guardian of freedom of speech, and there's many ways you can do that. You either be active, you be passive, you be aggressive, whatever the case may be. So I would encourage all media sources, they're probably not going to see this, to do your job. Get out there and look at things, report on them. Don't be swayed. Be as correct as possible. If you're not correct, do some sort of process in addressing that. But you need to be out there for the public, for folks who watch TV, who hear radio, who do Facebook, YouTube, whatever. You need to be out there trying to educate the world as to what is and what is not going on in one's life. All right, this little segment that we got you, about 9 minutes, we did a couple things. Speaking of health care, we've been down in St. Helena at their particular cancer center, getting some treatment for friends, and we had an opportunity to videotape a gentleman named Jason, and he is a guitarist. He was down in the lobby at the cancer center, and so we have a couple licks from him. We want to thank Jason very much for that. When we're down at Fort Miley, the Veterans Hospital of San Francisco, we always take an opportunity to go to Pier 39. This time we videotaped some young folks having fun on a carousel. One of these times I'm going to buy a ticket. I mean, as old as we get, we still like a carousel. But we're going to give you that. We also gave you a little video clips of where the cancer center was, whatever, before we got into Jason. And then on Pier 39, we went for a short little bike ride, Linda and I. Linda is my gal. And we had fun. The guy was chatty. So it was great. So we hope you enjoy this show. This is our March show. We are getting ready to hopefully get back on Channel 3. We've lost a whole audience there on Access TV. Right now, Channel 3, MATV, and the county are struggling with finding some resolution to not being broadcast, and a whole new board, whole new sort of focus. So we're patiently waiting around. We're doing YouTube, and Facebook. YouTube is Jim Rickel, News Team 3. We have about 16 to 20 segments of different shows that we put on there. We're also putting it on Facebook, Jim Rickel. We are working on developing another Facebook page called Rickel's News Team 3, and we're going to try and load this particular program in that along with YouTube and on the Facebook. So our offices are in Ukiah. We're at 510 South School Street, suite number H. You can call us at 485-7915. That's area code 707-485-7915. Write us a note at box 24 Ukiah 95482. And we'll get back to you, and we'll see how we can broaden this horizon of our presentations and in the weeks and months to come. All right, Jimmy Rickel, News Team 3. We're part of Human Services Studio 3 Presents. We hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you next week.
我非常想玩，我也想玩。快吃饱了。
Hey lady, what are you doing? You going for a ride, are you?
Yeah, we're going for a ride.
All right.
In San Francisco.
Yes.
Coit Tower, everybody's favorite.
Hi, Coit Tower.
Hello.
Last time I was there showing somebody the town, a guy exposed himself to it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so my friend.
Got a free show, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the town that happens on accident sometimes.
Yeah,
My friend, I was showing her the town. She was from Mexico. She hardly spoke any English.
Right.
And all she could do was go, woo, woo.
And who are you?
I'm Jason.
Jason, I'm Jim Rickel.
Nice to meet you.
I produce local television programs, so every time I see somebody doing music, I capture them.
Cool. Okay.
So
I'll make it a goodie.
Yeah. son in music school in Chicago.
Oh,
He's a
nice.
blues jazz.
Oh, cool. What a great place to do
Oh
that.
yeah. So are you from local?
I'm in Pengrove.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not too far.
No.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All
Of
right.
course. Jeffrey.